A Night to Remember. Chapter 1. The Humming. The room was dark, except for the glow of a streetlight outside the window. Every few seconds, a cloud of steam drifted past the glass from the vents in the street below, glowing orange before fading back into the night. Inside the room, everything was still. Except for the hum. Jonathan lay on his bed wearing the Dream Recall headset. The helmet covered most of his head, smooth and white like something astronauts once wore in old photographs. A thin ring of blue lights moved slowly around the visor. Listening. Recording. Inside the helmet, Jonathan's mind was racing. His eyes darted beneath the visor. A bead of sweat rolled down his temple. The machine blinked faster. Another nightmare was being saved. Chapter 2. Morning Without Rest. Jonathan woke up like someone surfacing from deep water. He ripped the headset off and dropped it beside him on the pillow. His phone buzzed immediately. Dream recorded, playback available. Jonathan groaned and rolled onto his back. He didn't need to watch it. He already knew what it contained. His parents arguing downstairs. Ben laughing in the hallway at school. Bruce chucking his backpack across the cafeteria. The Dream Recall headset was supposed to filter out bad dreams. Somewhere inside the device, that rule had clearly stopped working. Jonathan rubbed his face and climbed out of bed. Another school day waited. 5 minutes later, he realized he had forgotten his backpack again. Chapter 3. Gravity. Schools have their own strange gravity. Certain people drift naturally toward the center of attention. Others orbit the edges quietly, like distant satellites. Jonathan had always lived on the edges. Being autistic meant conversations sometimes moved faster than his thoughts. Teachers mistook silence for laziness. Students mistook difference for weakness. The hallway buzzed with noise and locker doors slamming. Jonathan walked with his eyes on the floor. 3 tiles forward. Turn. 4 tiles. Then someone stuck a foot out. Jonathan stumbled. A laugh echoed behind him. Careful there, Johnny. Ben Lopp leaned against a locker, smiling like he had just invented gravity itself. Jonathan sighed. Morning, simple Ben. Ben's smile vanished. Jonathan walked away before the argument could start. Sometimes small victories were enough. Chapter 4. Hope. Second period mathematics started like every other class. Jonathan had forgotten his notebook again. He stared at the empty desk while the teacher filled the board with equations. Then a notebook slid toward him. Hope Lee sat beside him. She didn't look at him when she spoke. You can use mine. Jonathan blinked. Why? Hope shrugged. Because you need notes. There was no judgment in her voice. Just kindness. For a moment, Jonathan didn't know what to say. So he said the simplest thing. Thanks. Chapter 5. The Scrapbook. Jonathan's real world lived inside a thick scrapbook hidden in his bag. It was filled with short stories. Alien cities. Space explorers. Strange planets made entirely of light. Writing helped him escape when real life became too loud. Unfortunately, Ben found the book. The cafeteria floor was suddenly covered in scattered pages. Bruce Chuck flipped through them laughing. Space dragons, Bruce said. Ben grabbed Jonathan's old Game Boy. Let's see if this thing swims. The splash from the toilet echoed across the cafeteria. Laughter exploded around the room. Jonathan stood frozen. Something inside his chest quietly cracked. Chapter 6. Interactive Mode. That night, Jonathan stared at the Dream Recall playback screen on his phone. Something new appeared. Interactive mode. He frowned. That wasn't there yesterday. Curiosity beat caution. He tapped it. The room vanished. Jonathan suddenly stood in the school hallway. Except it stretched endlessly in both directions. Lockers opened one by one. Ben stepped out of one. Then another Ben. Then another. Jonathan realized something unbelievable. This wasn't a recording. It was a world built from his dream. And he was inside it. Chapter 7, Dream Worlds. Each night the headset built something new. A floating city made from pages of his stories. A maze of school hallways where laughter echoed endlessly. A giant dinner table where his parents' arguments bounced across the walls like thunder. The machine wasn't broken. It was translating his thoughts into places. Memory became architecture. Fear became enemies. Imagination became physics. Jonathan started exploring them, like an astronaut inside his own mind. Chapter 8, The First Victory. One dream placed him back in the cafeteria. Except this time it was enormous. Students sat silently at tables stretching for miles. Bruce and Ben stood at the far end like bosses in a video game. Jonathan's heart pounded. Bruce charged forward. Jonathan imagined the world slowing down. The dream obeyed. Bruce's punch moved like it was underwater. Jonathan stepped aside. For the first time in his life, he won. The dream shattered. Jonathan woke up smiling. Chapter 9, Reality Hits Back. Dream victories didn't fix real life. Ben and Bruce only grew crueler. One afternoon, they tripped Jonathan again in the cafeteria. Food exploded everywhere. Laughter filled the room. Someone yanked at his trousers. The entire school stared. Jonathan wished reality had a reset button. But it didn't. Chapter 10, The Bag. That night, Jonathan placed a gun in his backpack. The weight of it followed him all day. Through hallways. Through classrooms. Through the cafeteria. He never touched it. But the thought sat there. Heavy. Waiting. Chapter 11, The Deepest Dream. That night, the dream world returned to the cafeteria. Endless tables. Silent students. Ben and Bruce waiting. But Jonathan walked forward. Fear grows stronger when you avoid it. Bruce attacked. Jonathan imagined the floor cracking beneath him. The dream obeyed. Bruce fell into darkness. The world shattered. Jonathan woke up breathing hard. Chapter 12, Breaking the Machine. Jonathan stood in his bedroom, staring at the dream recall device. The machine hummed quietly. It had replayed every nightmare, every humiliation, every fear. It wasn't helping him. It was feeding the storm. Jonathan lifted the gun. One shot shattered the machine. Plastic exploded across the room. The humming stopped. Silence returned. Chapter 13, Unexpected Allies. A week later, Ben tried his usual routine in the schoolyard. Except something different happened. A group of older students stepped in. They had seen enough. Self-defense club. Ben and Bruce backed away. For the first time. Chapter 14, Confidence. Jonathan joined the self-defense club. Not because he wanted to fight. Because he wanted to stop feeling helpless. Confidence didn't arrive overnight. It grew slowly. Like muscles after training. Week by week, Jonathan stood a little taller. Chapter 15, A Night to Remember. Winter slowly faded. One afternoon, Jonathan walked home beside Hope Lee. "I liked your stories," she said. Jonathan nearly tripped. "You read them?" "Most of them." She smiled. "My brain works a bit like yours," she said quietly. "Autism." Jonathan felt something shift inside his chest. Recognition. Understanding. He took a deep breath. "Would you want to go out sometime?" Hope pretended to think. Then she grinned. "I've liked you for years, Johnny." That night, Jonathan slept peacefully. No machines. No nightmares. Just dreams. And sometimes the best dreams are the ones you don't need technology to remember.